My life is kind of weird. So, Thor, The Dark World. Taking place 2 years after the events of the first Thor, the Bifrost Bridge has been repaired, but the chaos that had ensued from its damage at the end of the first film has necessitated Thor not return directly to Jane Foster, and instead bring order to the Nine Realms. All the while, Odin insists Thor think of the throne of Asgard rather than his romantic needs. Unfortunately for Jane, a cosmic event is causing disruptions in reality that bring her in contact with the Ether, a force of destruction used eons ago by the Dark Elf Malekith in order to purge the Nine Realms of all but his people. And Jane, now possessing the Ether, must now be protected by Thor, the other Asgardians, and perhaps even Loki as Malekith returns in order to finish his job once and for all. First off, I want to say I was really pleased to see pretty much everyone come back for this film. Well, except for Joshua Dallas, who played Fandral in the first film, who is now played by Zachary Levi, who actually was cast as Fandral in the first film, but had to bow out due to other commitments, and now Dallas has to bow out because of other commitments, and now Zach is playing Josh, who played Zach, and oh dear, I've gone cross-eyed. But seriously, the cast was remarkably solid, and surprisingly enough, almost everyone gets something to do. Often in sequels, you either pare the cast down or you bring somebody back in who really didn't need to be included in the story. But by and large, everyone gets to serve a purpose here. Everyone gets a moment to shine. Save for Hogan the Grim. Sorry, Hogan. But characters like Heimdall, Darcy, and the criminally underused Rene Russo as Frigga gets moments to be awesome. And that in itself is awesome, creating some sort of exponential of awesome. Also, I really have to credit Tom Hiddleston as Loki, who in both the first Thor and Avengers shined as not only one of the best villains in the Marvel films, but one of the best villains I've seen, period. He still is amazingly charismatic, and when he's on screen, the movie is better for it. Don't get me wrong, I love Chris Hemsworth's Thor as well, but if they had decided not to go back to the well with Loki, I do think the story would be worse off. Really, the best parts of the film feature both brothers together. And I have to give credit to the design team as well. The effects look gorgeous, and I love that each of the various realms look different. Asgard seems Star Warsian, having a mix of fantasy and science fiction. We get a brief look at Vanaheim, which seems like more traditional fantasy fare, like The Hobbit or Dungeons & Dragons. Meanwhile, Svartalfheim, home of the Dark Elves, contains weapons and ships with a heavy sci-fi feel that makes it feel like a bit of both Prometheus and Warhammer 40k to me. Considering its roots, both in mythology and the comics, it would have been easy to go straight up fantasy, but by giving each realm a unique feel, the production feels richer for it. That being said, there's still some problems with this film. I have two problems worth noting. First off, the pacing. I never was not enjoying the film, but taken as a whole, the first half is notably weaker. There's a lot of time spent dropping exposition that feels clunky, and we spend a lot of time with the villains at the start, and I'll get to them in just a second. I was laughing with the jokes, and I liked the plot that was being set up, but it moved too slowly and didn't have enough strong character moments to get me really invested until the latter half when the action really starts to kick in, and we get some God of Thunder kicking elf booty. And like I implied, the other problem is the villain. I love actor Christopher Eccleston. If there's one fandom that rivals my love of comics and comic book movies, it's Doctor Who. And it was there that I came to appreciate Eccleston as a fantastic actor, and he's wasted here. While it was unlikely that anyone would be able to top Loki, Malekith is just so one-dimensional and boring, I don't think they even tried. He wants to destroy all the other 8 realms and return them to darkness because of reasons barely even alluded to. He's just generically evil. It doesn't help that he's speaking some made-up language for half the film and under heavy makeup that his entire performance feels muted. Sure, he does have some kind of intimidating look, but once you get past that, there's not much there. There's even less to say about mini-boss Curse, Malekith's second in command. Much like the Destroyer in the first film, he's just there to be an early physical threat, and that's about it. But despite all these complaints, I still really enjoyed this film. It's not going to reach the top of too many people's lists when it comes to the best of Marvel's Cinematic Universe films, but it's still a solidly entertaining entry. While a few twists and turns are heavily telegraphed, there's at least one moment that made me go, whoa, in a great way. And the final fight scene is both crazy and a lot of fun. Getting more of these characters makes it an easy recommend for anybody who really enjoyed the first film. If you didn't care for the first one as much, you might want to wait till the video, but I enjoyed it, and I still think it's worth your time. Until next time, though, I've got to go talk to a god about fixing reality.
韩表。
Geek Vision.